Let's go see. This is working. Hello? Hello, hello, hello. It's starting to lag. Hold on. Hello, hello, hello. I've said it 20 times already. All right. I believe that it is working. And I believe that we're here for another Ring of Honor TV review, episode number 115 to be exact. And a bit of a delayed review, but I could say that it's a little bit on me, but not all of it on me. It's like 5% is on me. The other 95% is obviously not my fault. I probably should have anticipated that ROH would be messed up this week because they were doing Collision Live on Thursday. And the last time around that they did that, ROH got split into half Thursday, half Friday situation, etc. So I should have probably anticipated that. So, with that really being the case, I would expect for the next month to have a very messed up schedule when it proclaims to Ring of Honor TV reviews, mainly due to the fact that the NBA, I almost said the NFL, that's the opposite. The NBA and NHL playoffs are on TBS and TNT, so it screws up the AEW schedule. I know there are several instances where AEW's double taping Dynamite and Collision. There's supposed to be like a 4-hour block one night as well. Summer Blockbuster is the special name of it. And again, I was even confused because I thought that this next week was going to be a 4-hour block of Dynamite Collision back to back. But I don't think that's the case. I just think they're doing Dynamite and then taping Collision after, which they've done that for quite a while now. But when they promote it on TV, sometimes it gets effing confusing. And they very rarely, if ever, promote ROH TV on AEW television. So it makes it even more confusing because, again, in this instance, it's very last minute. It was Wednesday. They're like, oh, yeah, by the way, ROH is going to be Friday this week. So it might bother some. It bothers me because I have to change my schedule up and then etc. But it's not the biggest deal. But we're here for the 115th episode of ROH TV to review on Honor Club. And this is a special edition. This was uploaded to YouTube, and I did watch the YouTube version. I don't think that should be a difference. If it is, I don't really think y'all would really want me to watch. If y'all want me to watch both, y'all are crazy. Y'all are crazy. So we're here, episode 115. Let's find out what all happens as we have a special match on the screen. I hit random until people that were ROH champions would appear, and these are the first four that I got. Scorpio Sky, former ROH six-man and tag team champion. Adam Cole, former tag team champion, TV champion, and world champion. Jeff Hardy, former tag team champion, and Sammy Guevara, current tag team champion, even though you kind of forget it sometimes because it doesn't appear as much as the tag titles are not defended as much as they should be, but that's a story for a different day. Let's get into this damn review. ROH TV review, episode 150, kicks off with Jay Lethal, multiple time television champion and world champion, former tag team champion, taking on Atlantis Jr., former Ring of Honor television champion. So champions all around here early. We got a fast-paced start with Atlantis hitting a dive to the outside and then Lethal doing the same dive as well. Once they're back in the ring, Lethal is trying to hit the Hell to the King elbow drop, but Atlantis Jr. just keeps rolling out of his way, and then Lethal would change what turnbuckle he would be on, and then it eventually leads to Atlantis kicking him off of the top rope. Jay is able to land the lethal combinations, but is not able to land the lethal injection, with Atlantis landing a frog splash afterwards to pick up the victory. So Atlantis Jr., when he competes on ROH TV, you better expect him to win. So Jay Lethal bit on a losing streak here in ROH because he did lose to Bandido in his last encounter. So we'll see if that changes. Next matchup, Layla Gray versus Marina Shafir. I try to combine her name. Sorry. It's a bit weird when she competes on ROH because she doesn't compete on AEW TV as much, and she's in the main thing going on in AEW TV with the Death Riders, which I don't know how many people really consider that the main thing on AEW TV, but it kind of is. Regardless, the thing that was even weirder is they're hyping up this women's pure title tournament which the one good thing that I saw with the Supercard of Honor delay, which I'm still upset about that, by the way, but the one good thing that came from that is like they could dedicate time to this pure title tournament, and they've already announced a lot of people. They've announced Layla Gray, Deonna Purrazzo, who competes on this episode, Taya Valkyrie, Queen Aminata, Serena Deeb. So they are at least putting effort into this tournament. Now, what I'm going off on this tangent with is like, I would have thought that this would be a pure rules match because Marina Shafir kind of fights and competes at that style, and Layla Gray is in the tournament. So how exactly did this match go down? Shafir tries to keep the match grounded as usual with frequent pins and kickouts by Gray. Several kicks damage Gray's shoulder, and a takedown by Shafir transitions into the Mother's Milk triangle choke with Marina Shafir picking up the victory. Their next matchup is the Spanish Announce Project versus Lee Johnson and Blake Christian. Now, this is ROH related news and a side tangent, but a report came out this week talking about EJ Ndoku, who was the former tag partner of Lee Johnson. And I thought it was a bit weird that he just like slowly he would have randomly appear on ROH TV with Lee Johnson, and sometimes it'd be Blake Christian. Like it was very on again, off again. Now it's completely off because he is no longer with AEW at ROH, and there's a damn report out there that saying that he was too big of an athlete and it overshadowed other stars. So it was, in quotes, difficult to use him. Now again, the key word here is report. I think there's a bit like some people took that as a joke. But if y'all been around here long enough, one of the phrases I use quite often is, behind every joke is a little bit of truth. So it might be a joke, y'all might laugh it off, but it's like, he just was not booked on here. Like, I like him. I thought he did good. I thought he had potential, but he was just never damn booked. And I was very perplexed by it and confused by it. So I'm not going to say they fumbled, but it's just like, they didn't even have the ball in the possession, if you want to be like really technical. It's a very weird situation. And so we're transitioning from this Lee J team of Lee Johnson and EJ Ndoku, which, by the way, I hated the Lee J name, so we don't have to worry about that again. And we're transitioning into this Lee Johnson and Blake Christian team, and they're taking on the Spanish Announce Project, and Angelico and Serpentico. And Angelico and Christian start the match off, but there's no code of honor. Maybe Christian wishes he would have did it because he gets double teamed by SAP early on. Then the tide turns and Serpentico is double teamed. Christian is able to land a top rope Canadian destroyer, which is impressive. And then he is able to dive on Angelico. Wow. Lee Johnson hits a Yushikaroshi on Serpentico, and Lee Johnson and Blake Christian win the matchup. And, you know, I would say they're official team. They don't have an official name. It's not that difficult to have a better name than Lee J, so time will tell there. So now we have a pure rules match. Ashley Vox versus Deonna Purrazzo, who, again, I've said will be in the women's pure title tournament. Now, one thing that I'm an asshole about, they did not show the judges for this match. That's the one thing that I pop for when they do the pure rules matches and when they show the judges. And I feel that most of the time they just forget it. And most of the time it ends up being Jerry Lynn. But we got a quick and easy pure rules match with Ashley Vox and Deonna Purrazzo. Lots of arm bars by Deonna early on, one of which uses Vox's first rope break attempt. Her second rope break comes after an ankle lock that Deonna applies. The two exchange forearms on the outside, and a series of clotheslines, a powerbomb, and a Fujiwara armbar by Purrazzo wins the matchup, as we could see that Queen Aminata was watching this matchup in the back. She didn't appear on the screen until after the match was done. So now we have a proving ground bout between Red Velvet and Lanie Luck. And I will admit that these last three matches, I know at least one of them was taped in Detroit, and there's a big giveaway of that. But I think a lot of these matches were taped on the last show, where the first couple matches on this episode were taped last week in Atlantic City, New Jersey. But these matches that were in Detroit, the crowd was very into these matches and very loud, and they were very loud for this one with Red Velvet and Lanie Luck. As Velvet is aggressive early on, landing lots and lots and lots of punches. As commentary notes that both of her parents were pro boxers and Olympic level boxers. Maybe I should check more into it and learn their names. But Ian and Caprice don't say it, so I don't think it's that important. Luck starts to start a comeback with a clothesline as Spicoli driver that gets a 2 count, but that comeback does not last long as Velvet lands the mix, aka a spinning kick, to pick up the victory and continue her women's TV title tournament that has been going on. We're almost at a year of this title reign. She won it in July of last year at Death Before Dishonor, which I will admit is a bit crazy. In no way it's felt like it's been almost a year. I also kind of forgot. I thought we were in April for a minute. We're in May, so I'm just going off the trails. Now, this is something that I probably should have mentioned earlier, but I'm glad they mentioned it on this episode of ROH TV, is that Nick Wayne had a big ROH TV title match this week on Dynamite as he defeated former ROH alumni, ECW alumni, WWF/E alumni, and TNA Hall of Famer, the Man Beast, War Machine, Rhino. I could have gave you a lot more accolades to provide, but Nick Wayne picked up a big TV title victory over Rhino, and now his priorities have shifted into the Best of the Super Juniors tournament, which I believe starts very soon. I know they had the initial press conference for the tournament, but I don't know exactly the exact date of when that starts, so I guess it would be a minute before we see the TV title, but we have lots of other titles in ROH to worry about. As now, Satnam Singh faces Lord Crew. And I would imagine that this match was taped in Detroit, Michigan, because Singh came out wearing a Detroit Pistons jersey, customized, by the way. It said 1 in a billion in the back, and they were saying that he had toured the Pistons facility earlier in the week. This matchup being very one-sided, and we see and hear thunderous chops from Singh, and he wins off of a big choke slam, as we're now here for the main event matchup, another Proving Ground bout, and probably the one that is in the thumbnail of this video, Bandido versus Gringo Loco. And again, the fans were very much into this matchup, and the two competitors gave them something to like as they started dancing, and the best way that I could describe it is hip thrust. It was very Rick Rude-esque with a little bit more rhythm in it. I don't know the best way to describe it. I've probably done the dance before, so I can't, When you dance, you don't really call out what you're doing, it's not wrestling. Regardless, the actual action that's going on. Loco lands a drop kick, and then off of a Bandido springboard attempt, and then he follows it up with a top rope split-legged moonsault that gets a 2 count. Bandido hits a frog splash for a 2 count. Then Gringo Loco lands an inverted angle slam by Loco, which I just said that twice, and it gets a very close 2 count as Bandido lands a top rope Hurricane Rana and a Shining Wizard to pick up the victory and end this simulcasted episode of Ring of Honor television. So if anything was really that different on Honor Club, I doubt it, because a lot of the commentators like say, we're here on YouTube, and then they would say, and Honor Club, it's kind of like, and they're promoting Honor Club a lot as well. So I don't know when next week's ROH episode will be, because like I said, I would imagine and guesstimate for the next month it'll be either Thursday or Friday, because that's the past 2 dates that we've been getting. But, I know their schedule is getting a lot more crazier. We have Double or Nothing coming up. Then after that, we have All In. We have the Summer Blockbuster, which is before All In. I should have saved All In for last. But we got a lot going on in the world of AEW and, by default, ROH. So I should be here to cover the ROH portion. And whenever Double or Nothing is, I will provide predictions for that event. If you want to hear me, and this is also a cheap plug, if you want to hear me talk about some more Ring of Honor action this week in my retro review series, I'll be discussing Death Before Dishonor 2022. I'm really looking forward to that. So hopefully I see you there. If not, I at least appreciate you for watching this video. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that stuff. And I'll see you when I see you, because I'm out for now. Goodbye.